This starter kit is probably the only starter kit in the PHP industry that comes with this level of strictness when it comes to tooling in PHP. Okay, PHP have evolved a lot. Since 20 years ago, PHP have received innumerous tooling that it really just works and make this language one of the best languages in the world. And running this tooling is actually super easy. The only thing you have to do is go to your console, just like that, and you type composer linked. Now, when you type composer linked, a lot of things will happen, and in fact, you are running 3 tools at the same time. One of them is Pint, but you are not only running Pint, you are running Pint in parallel, which is crazy fast. On top of that, you are running Reactor PHP. So if you have something that should be refactored, Reactor PHP will do that for you. But we also have npm run linked, which will run ESLint behind the scenes. So you have your project fully styled with composer linked and really just something else we have is the possibility of running type coverage. If you don't know type coverage yet, you should probably be using in 2025. And with this starter kit, it's actually super easy. You just come here and type composer test coverage, or actually test type coverage. Okay, so you run this, and the way it goes is that it goes to your project, to every single line you have in your project, and it checks if you are using types in all of them. Now, this is type coverage, but of course, you also want to test the actual code, and that happens within this section called tests unit. This is super simple. Basically, if you type composer test unit, this will run your entire test suite, but not only that, we'll also ensure that you have 100% code coverage, okay? Not a lot of people are a fan of code coverage. I'm a big fan of code coverage. I think it's insanely important to have your lines of code being tested. And some people will tell you it's not that important. It is important, okay? That's totally bullshit. Just ignore that, people, and listen to me. Listen, Nuno good, huh? Nuno good. And of course, we have PHP Stan. PHP Stan, TypeScript of PHP. You guys know that. One of the most important things in the planet. You just have to go here and type composer test types. This will run PHP Stan. Level max, which is important. So if we were to do something like this, a equals to 1 plus Nuno, doesn't make any fucking sense. You are literally adding an integer to a string. Even PHP Storm is complaining about that right now. So if we run composer test, there is actually 3 errors that PHP Stan detected. The first one is that foo is unused. And of course, on line 29, which is right here, we are trying to add 1 to a string, which will result in an error, is a binary operation that is invalid. Okay, so this is PHP Stan, super safe, super clean, and also ships by default on my own starter kit. Bam, bam, boom. And finally, we have this section at the end, which aggregates all the previous testing. So all the previous sections we have here will run on the single composer test, which is being used by the CI already. So if I go here and I clean my terminal like that, and I go all the way top and I type composer test, this will just run the entire thing. We'll run linking, we'll run type coverage, we'll run testing types, we'll run code coverage, will run the entire test suite, and you can use this in your CI, which is exactly what we are doing. If you go to test.yaml file, this is what runs at the very end, okay? And you just have to type composer test. You don't have to go to the vendor directory. You don't have to do any type of bullshit. It really just works.